What's up, dudes and dudes to the internet? My name's Scyushi and we're back in with some more Trove, and today we're going to be talking about how you can get Trove to play on your mobile device. And with it, we're also going to have a couple bonuses. That is how you can actually play Xbox games and PS4 games on your computer monitor without the need of any capture cards. Now, let me tell you, there is a huge rabbit hole we could go down in order to get your mobile device to not only play Trove, but also to be able to use the touchscreen. It is technically possible, but there is just so much that you gotta go through in order to get all three versions to work that I'm just gonna, I gave up. It took me like all day trying to figure out how to get the Xbox and the PlayStation to end up talking to my phone in such a way I could use the touchscreen to play Trove, but instead we're just going to settle for the easy thing, which is the program called Parsec. This program basically allows you to screen share your mobile device with your computer desktop screen, and that's where the PC version comes in. But where does the Xbox and PS4 version come in? Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Basically, what you're going to be doing, and what I'm going to be explaining in this video, is how you can get your Xbox or your PlayStation 4 screen to be on your monitor, and thus you can just end up using the Parsec app to end up screen sharing your computer monitor to your phone. This does mean that you aren't going to be using touchscreen, and technically speaking, even though this is Trove on mobile, you aren't going to be able to play Trove on the go because you're going to have your phone close enough that you can end up screen sharing to your phone, which should pretty much work throughout your entire house so long as you have a good enough wireless connection. But the biggest issue, I would think, is just the wireless controllers. So if I wanted to, for example, play Xbox Trove on my phone in my bedroom, I'd have to bring my Xbox into my bedroom, have it plugged into my internet network so that it would be a strong enough connection to Parsec on my computer that would meanwhile be all the way back in the house, and then I would use the wireless connection of my phone in order to end up connecting to that. The cool thing about Parsec is you can actually use it with pretty much anyone in the world. This is how I ended up playing the game Riverbund on my channel recently, because that game is actually local only. There's no way of playing it online. So what we ended up doing was both me and Joe ended up installing Parsec. I hosted the game, which allowed him to see my computer monitor. And the thing that Parsec does different is it allowed him to hijack the controls of my computer. So he would put button inputs on his controller with him in real life, and then my computer would recognize those inputs, thus allowing him to control his character in the game. But that doesn't really have anything to do with Trove. It's just something awesome about Parsec that I did want to talk about. So getting Parsec to work on your mobile device when you're playing on PC is extremely forward and to the point. All you gotta do is have the program installed on your computer, have it installed on your phone, get them to talk to one another by logging into your same account. All I gotta do is click on play, and now my phone is actually connecting to my computer monitor. I am now screen sharing my main screen to my mobile device. That's crazy. Now, there are going to be a little bit of downsides with this. It means that we are going to see a little bit of delay and a little bit of blurring in the video on our phone because technically we're streaming it wirelessly to our mobile device. I'm sure there's probably a way that you can connect your mobile device wired to the network, but I don't have an adapter for that, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose now, doesn't it? However, I would have to be using a wireless controller in order to control this, or I could just use my mouse and keyboard if I really wanted to, but then we're just playing on the computer anyway. I guess if I, for whatever reason, wanted to have my wireless keyboard and mouse over on the couch and I didn't want to try to bring my monitor over to me or something, I could just end up doing this. Or maybe if I didn't have my TV set up properly, I don't know. There's not really much reason to have your PC version go onto the mobile, but it's something that I thought I would just explain because it's a lot easier. So next we're going to talk about how you can set up Trove on your mobile the exact same way with your Xbox. Unfortunately, I don't think this affects Mac users. I don't know, but there's an Xbox app that you have on Windows 10 because the Xbox itself is actually using Windows 10. All you gotta do is launch that app, click connections in the bottom left here, and your Xbox One might already be recognized, but if it's not, you just gotta click on add device. And in order to find the IP address on your Xbox, all you gotta do is go into your network settings and go to your advanced settings in there, and then you'll see the IP address of your Xbox. put those in here, click connect, and then the cool thing is that with the Xbox app on our computer, we can actually control our Xbox itself. So I can actually tell it to turn on my Xbox right now without having to press a controller button or even just press a button on the Xbox in general. And further than that, we can actually seamlessly stream our Xbox to our computer monitor right here, right now. Again, we're going to be suffering from a little bit of blurriness in the picture, but there's not going to be any delay between your controller. And it's very, very simple, very to the point. And now that we actually have our Xbox screen on our main monitor, we would just end up using Parsec on our phone, and then it would end up doing the same thing that it did with PC, because basically we're using Parsec to look at our main monitor. And this already is crazy for somebody like myself, because with all the money that people end up investing in capture cards so that you can end up having your screen recorded onto your computer, which still does serve a purpose, because again, you're not going to deal with that minor delay of using Parsec, and you're not going to end up having that minor blur. But for anybody that's just starting out with like YouTube and stuff like that and doesn't really care about something like that or can't afford to have a capture card, this is a fantastic alternative. So next we're going to be moving to PS4 Remote Play, which unfortunately this is going to require some additional software. You're either going to have to set up your PS4 controller to work wirelessly with your computer rather than your PS4, or like me, you're going to have it wired. And I don't really have a long wire for my PS4. I just have my standard one, which works fine enough because I'm sitting right here in front of my computer monitor. But all you got to do is just sign into your PlayStation Network account, same as you would have if you were setting up your Xbox app, and then just click start. And there you go. I'm actually running my PlayStation right now on my computer without using a capture card. Oh my gosh, that's insane. So again, you would just end up using Parsec, and then you could screen share it to your phone. Easy. Now, the one thing I don't like about this app is if I do unplug my controller for whatever reason, it actually just outright disconnects the controller. And then if I try to turn my controller back on, it's going to start talking to my PlayStation. And if I try to sign into my account, it's actually going to disconnect the whole program entirely, because the program itself has to have your computer recognizing the PlayStation controller rather than the console. Whereas with Xbox, there's no issue. And there you have it, an extremely intuitive, extremely easy way that you can end up playing all versions of Trove on your mobile device. But more importantly than that, I think the takeaway here is the fact that we can play our PlayStation and Xbox all on the same computer screen without having to use a capture card. I obviously still use a capture card because I like giving you guys higher quality videos and stuff like that, because the other thing too is that you are still dealing with the little delay that you get from using the Parsec program. The screen isn't going to be crystal clear, and you do have to keep in mind that you're going to have a strong enough internet connection for this to work. Now, that said, the screen that I have for both my PlayStation and Xbox was going to end up being a little bit less rather than more, because I'm actually connecting both my PlayStation and Xbox wirelessly to my network, which means that I'm wirelessly connecting my Xbox, for example, to my computer, and then wirelessly connecting that screen to my phone. So it's kind of like a downgrade on a downgrade. And again, I do want to say that there is still a way that you can set up a bunch of different apps that you can properly use the touchscreen on your mobile device. But the amount of effort that goes into setting these up is just astronomically ridiculous. Even for the Microsoft setup, it's like you can stream your computer monitor to your phone, and then in order to end up setting up all of your controls properly, like you're basically, for Microsoft, you're basically doing the exact same thing that Parsec does, but you got to sign into all these different accounts and stuff like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. And for PlayStation, in order to get it to work on any mobile device that isn't a Sony phone, you're going to have a cracked version of the software, and then you have to figure out how to install that app on your phone without actually downloading it from the App Store. That's why I skipped over all of that, because it took me like all day just researching all of that stuff. And then ultimately, I still couldn't figure out how to get it to work because there wasn't really that much information online. Maybe some of you guys that are more tech savvy will end up having some more information about it, and maybe you'll figure it out for yourself so that you can properly end up using the touchscreen, because I think that could end up being pretty fun. But Not necessarily with Trove. I don't think it would end up working as well with that. I think it would work a lot better by just using a controller. And keep in mind again that using the Steam Link app, that's very simple and to the point. It's the PlayStation and the Xbox ones that I had a lot of trouble with trying to get to work on the phone. Because with Steam Link, it just basically lets you play your Steam games, the same as Parsec, but you can actually use your touch screen. So you could play any Steam game, not necessarily just Trove. Anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to smash like and subscribe for more. Have yourselves a great day. Sayonara and stay epic, everybody.